Add to the stage. There we go. Hi, everybody. I was having a moment of panic there because I was like, where's my camera? Why isn't it showing up? Hi, I'm Teresa in the Garden Tarot, and this is my Saturday activity where I see my internet's gonna now my internet's gonna be upset. It's my Saturday activity where I am not offering free readings. Instead, I'm offering readings by donation. You can ask any question you like as long as it's not a question that you would ask a medical professional or a legal professional about, because I can't answer those kinds of questions. Um, you can donate for the reading either through PayPal or Venmo. And if you're not sure, if you decide you would like to have a reading, you can just, let me know which one you'd like to use, and I'll post it in the chat. Eventually, Nightbot will post it in the chat. Um, but it'll take Nightbot a minute. I'm just writing a little note here while I'm thinking. My name today, scrolling on the bottom of my screen, it says, it just gives information on the kinds of readings you can have on love, career, family, general advice. It's one question. The donation is $8, and you can donate either with Venmo or CashApp. In the it's on the left lower corner. It says Fool, and with this particular set of Saturday readings, I'm going through the major arcana, and the very first card as my name, because I go by, in my regular free readings, I go by names of flowers because it is in the garden. But for this Saturday thing, I'm going by the names of the major arcana cards, and the very first one, which is numbered 0, is the Fool. So I'll be here for about the next hour or so, kind of depends on how it goes, and I will be available for anyone who would like to get a reading. I do not do free readings on the weekend. I have Saturday devoted to people who might have an important question they want to ask. And then on Sundays, I have a reflecting on the previous week, and on looking towards the week ahead, 3-card reading, which is for a donation of $3. And I'm going to give you a couple of links to look at so you know what those are all about. The first link I'm going to put out here is a quick little video that explains what is entailed in the 5-card reading. So this is the 5-card reading, or the 5-card spread, as they will say in the tarot world. And then the one that'll be on Sunday, the Sunday reflection reading. Here is a link to that video. And this will just give you some information on the Sunday reflection, the Sunday weekly reflection video. Tarot reading and what that entails. So a couple of links for you to look at if you like. There is one more link I'm going to put in here, and this is, I'm actually going to redo this because I've changed the amount of time I'm on the internet, on the live streams. Usually it was just Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays in the evenings, but now I actually am Monday through Friday, I'm on twice a day, and then Saturday and Sunday I'm on one day. So it doesn't really affect the subject matter of how to get the most out of your readings, but it has some information in it that is now inaccurate. And just as a matter of vanity, when I recorded that video, I had just washed my hair, so it looked awful. And I thought maybe I need to present yourself a little bit more professionally next time. That's another reason why I decided I'm probably going to redo that one. Um, and there's been a couple of things on my mind that have actually come up that I'll probably add to that list of 10 things. One of them is the issue of juveniles, people who are not at the age of consent in whatever place they're from. Um, I obviously cannot tell by looking at you on YouTube whether or not you're in the United States under the age of 18. But I am concerned sometimes that there are people who are under the age of 18 who might be asking questions. And although I personally don't have a problem with it, I'm not your parent, and your parent or your legal guardian is the one that is ultimately responsible for you, and they need to approve of you doing this. So I just want you to make you aware of that. If you have in the past been a person who is under the age of consent, who is still is no longer not considered a legal adult, that you really shouldn't be in here asking questions. In fact, when I set up these lives and my videos, it specifically says it's not meant for children. So again, I don't have a problem with it myself. I think it can be instructive no matter what, but I'm not your mom or dad, and I'm not your guardian, whoever your guardian might be. And they may have a different point of view, and I have to respect that as a matter of law. So yeah, funny thing, when now this is the first time I've done a Saturday and a Sunday reading. So I had set it for 3 o'clock to kind of set it apart from my normal times, because my normal times are noon Central Time and 10 p.m. Central Time. So I set it for 3 p.m. Central Time. And I started making enchiladas this morning. I made a big container of beef enchiladas. Well, it's mostly beans and corn and other things, but it also has beef in it. Made some enchiladas for that, and I also made a smaller thing of chicken enchiladas, and so I was working on those all morning. And I came over to my computer, and it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I had like a panic. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm an hour behind. I was supposed to go on at 12. I had forgotten that I had set this up for 3 o'clock. And so I started to do the live, and then I realized, oh, wait a minute, I'm about 2 hours early. So I had to cancel it, redo the live, and here I am. But that was a moment of excitement there. I'm one of those people that is not usually late. In fact, I'm usually early to things. And so it's kind of a little, I guess one of my quirks is that I get upset when I'm late to things. What else do I want to tell you? There's something else. I'm sure it'll come to me. Oh, some of you might be curious about what I do to prepare for these live streams, because I do prepare for them. Usually I will do some kind of physical cleansing. Like if I need a shower, I'll take a shower. I'll do some kind of cleaning, so that I'm fresh and ready to go. Brush my teeth. I'll brush my hair, etc., etc. Just normal things you would do before you walked out the door. And then I will also spend some time. I'll make sure that I've eaten. I don't want to be working on an empty stomach, but at the same token, I don't want to be completely full of some meal that I just had. So I want to be in homeostasis, as they say. I will spend some time in a meditation state. I wouldn't say like full on meditation, but I will spend some time sitting quietly and kind of clearing my mind and connecting with connecting all the parts of me, getting in touch with that. When I have my free readings during the week, and they are always like based on whatever the energies of that day are, because each day is ruled by a planet, and I will create a question or two that are the free readings. So when I give those free readings, it's not just anything you want to ask, it's going to be one of the questions that I put out there for you. Um, so if that's the case, I will do the reading for myself before I start to see what I get. Um, or at the very least, I will do a reading just like what does Spirit want me to know kind of reading, a general reading, which is a really useful one to have. So I do that. I always do that before the actual event, and then finally I do smudge the area I'm working in. I also smudge myself. Um, I feel that this. I used to sell the incense and order the incense in a little shop in Austin a long time ago, Austin, Texas. And I'm very much connected with incense as a spiritual tool. So I enjoy, it puts me in the right frame of mind, I guess, for lack of a better word. If you don't want a woo woo reason, because some people don't, it just puts me in that spiritual frame of mind. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of smoking right now. Smoke in my room, not me. I don't smoke. Yeah, I'm pretty boring. I don't smoke anything. Tobacco or otherwise. I don't drink. Maybe occasionally, like on a holiday, maybe New Year's Eve or something like that, I might have some champagne or whatever. Um, I'm pretty plain. I'm a very plain person. I'm not someone who's ever been interested in anything, any kind of intoxicant, ever. Just doesn't interest me. I think it's because I probably, with all my fixed signs in my chart, I tend to like to be in control of myself at all times. So, anyway, I'm going to take a break from talking for a minute here. And if someone comes in, I'll say hi and we'll talk and see what's going on. But meanwhile, we'll just sit tight. Anyone who's watching the live after the fact, you can check out those links. As always, anyone who either watches this live after the fact or comes in during the live, if you would like it or subscribe to the channel or even leave a comment, all of those things are helpful to the channel to get the word out there, and I always appreciate that. I am really, I keep seeing this message coming up showing me that my internet's getting slow, and that really annoys me because I recently changed internet provider, not providers, but what kind of providers? I changed it. And ever since I changed it, I feel like my service is not as good. And I don't like that because I had pretty good service. That is actually one of my motivations for seriously thinking of leaving the country, because quite honestly, I can get high speed, much better quality internet in any number of other places. It's a long, involved story. It's a legal thing about why the U.S. internet is set up the way it is, which is quite interesting if you're the kind of person who likes to explore that kind of thing. But the way it's set up here does tend to, it's not the same as the way it's set up in other countries. It's just different. So, I do my lives. I think I've already said that, but I'm going to say it again. I do Monday through Friday, I do lives that are free. Free question, a specific free question at noon and also at 10 p.m. And those specific free questions are based on the energies of the day. So, what are those energies? So, Monday is ruled by the moon. So when we think of the moon, we think of dreams, we think of intuition, we think of delusions, illusions, secrets, things that are hidden. So questions would be around that kind of topic on Mondays. Tuesday is ruled by Mars. So Mars is about action and risk taking. It's having a lot of power, a lot of energy, passion. This can lead to like warlike, it's kind of associated with war, but it doesn't necessarily have to be violent. It's just that there's a lot of fast moving energy when we talk about Mars. Wednesday is ruled by the planet Mercury, which is all about communication. So, questions related to not just talking and wanting to know what someone's thinking, but also like insight, education, curiosity. There's a lot of things that are covered by the planet Mercury. Thursday is the planet Jupiter. And Jupiter is about expansion, luck, prosperity. It also has a lot of different kinds of topics that it could cover. And then Friday is, which is what we just had last night, is ruled by the planet Venus. So when we think of Venus, a lot of people automatically think of romantic love, and I suppose that's part of it. But Venus is really about beauty, the appreciation of beauty, sensual pleasures, massages and having someone brush your hair and chocolates and all the I guess the pleasures of the flesh will be coming under that umbrella. But also the arts. So if you're an artistic person, you might want to do a reading under the energy of Venus. And then of course Saturday I don't is ruled by Saturn, and then Sunday is ruled by the Sun. I don't do obviously I do the donation readings on Saturday, so I don't go by Saturn's energy. And then Sunday I do the week in review readings, so I'm not going by the sun's energy specifically. But I just leave those open for people to ask their own questions. I have a friend of mine who's either on their way to Paris or has arrived in Paris. I hope they're having a good time there. I hope they're safe. They're going to be there for about a week. I'm envious because I do like to travel, and I do like France in particular. I would love to go back. And years ago, when I was a kid, I went to France as part of like a big European tour thing. And because I had studied French for 4 years in high school, I was very much interested in the French culture and the language. And, I was very much into like Versailles and um, Marie Antoinette and all that stuff. So I always thought it might be fun to go back. Because when I went there, I was 18 years old. I was very naive in the world and didn't have a lot of money to spend. And, I just feel like I didn't appreciate what I was being exposed to at that time. And I always thought it might be fun to go back, older and wiser. Maybe not richer, but older and wiser. So I don't think I've said this. I know I've given you the link, but the 5 card spread that I'm offering today is for one question, and it's laid out 3 on the top. I'm just laying out random cards, and 3 on the bottom, and 2 on the bottom. Excuse me, making 5 cards. The first card is your role in the situation. The second card is the role of others in the situation, or if there aren't others involved, then um, things in the situation that are beyond your control. The third card is what stands in your way in this situation of accomplishing whatever you want to accomplish. The fourth card is what is in your favor in that situation. What can you use to your advantage? And then the fifth card is what's the best co- best I can't talk. The best course of action to pursue based on what you know, or if you don't change anything about, like if you don't like the way something's going, or you like the way it's going, it would be what is the most likely outcome in the situation. So that's what you'd be looking at if you were to get a reading today. I'll put this here. It's very pretty. This is a card from the Apocalypsis tarot deck, and it's called the All Gifted. And this is an extra card. It's a tarot deck, but it has an extra card that the artist made. From what I read, Scarabaro, I can't even pronounce it right. They're the manufacturers of that particular deck, and they say that these are all painted. They're paintings by the artist. They're all very beautiful, and they kind of draw from different groups. Like there's Greek gods and goddesses, there's Egyptian iconography, there's Native American, Mesoamerican, that they draw from to create the different tarot cards. But I really like the imagery on these cards. I think they're really cool. And this one is just like an extra card that person made called the All Gifted. And I like it. It's very pretty. I'm not using the apocalyptic deck today. Today I'm using the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot deck. This is just a regular Rider-Waite, but it's called Radiant Wise Spirit. And if you take the R, the W, and the S in Radiant Wise Spirit, you realize it's referencing Rider-Waite Smith. So basically the Rider-Waite deck. Rider-Waite Smith deck. Of course, Pamela Coleman Smith is the one that helped, what's his first name? Waite. I want to say it's like Roger or Richard. Anyway, the person that helped him by doing the artwork. She was an artist. And there's a lot of like talk about how she didn't get credit, that she died in poverty. And so there was a resurgence of her. And so there are some decks that are called the Rider-Waite Smith. So they're just including her in the credit line because it used to just be the Rider-Waite. And from what I understand, some, if not all, of the Rider-Waite Smith decks, the ones that are titled that way, show more detail because her paintings were, showed more, were bigger than what were actually on the final deck. And I think that R.E. Wade, I think is his name. I think that he made changes to her original artwork, and I think it brings back what she originally intended for the cards. I'm not sure. Tarot Lore 101. So I told you I made enchiladas today. Went out and watered my plants. I planted some peanuts because it's I live in western Tennessee, and so we do have an actual fall, but it's not. We still have a good month, maybe 2 months before it starts cooling down here. And peanuts are a hot weather crop, so I probably won't get any actual peanuts, but I read that you can eat the greens. So I planted some peanuts because I'd like to use the greens, the plant part of it, to cook during the winter. So I planted some peanuts out. I'll probably plant some potatoes too, because potatoes can stand the cold, here at least. And then later on, probably towards the end of September, I'll put out some cool weather crops, broccoli and different kinds of lettuces, cabbage. Carrots are another crop that can overwinter in the ground. I don't actually have a garden. What I have is a bunch of pots and planters because I live in a duplex. There isn't really a yard per se that I can have a garden in. My dream would be to have a garden. That would be nice. But it's not what I have right now. And I've been working on a new spread called Suffering is Optional. The Suffering is Optional spread. And it's not meant to replace a mental health professional, but it does give you some, if you're kind of in pain and suffering over a particular subject, it does kind of give you some insight and some help in how to cope with it and how to get get yourself out of that sorrow that you might be in, that suffering. So now you know everything that I've been thinking about today. By the way, my name is Teresa. I am a retired secondary school, I think that's what they call high school, teacher. I used to be a visual art teacher, and I was in just regular public schools here in Tennessee. And at a certain point, actually at the right point, I guess, I decided to go on an adventure, and I went to China and taught English as a second language in China for a couple years. And when I came back, it wasn't long after that that COVID broke out. And during that, when I came back, I was still teaching Chinese kids as English as a second language, but I was doing it online from the United States. Did that for a couple years. Um, and then I fully retired. I got to be 62, so I was able to claim my Social Security and my teeny tiny little teaching pension. But, I'm still keep active. I still, when I wanted to retire, I thought about what I wanted to do with my life. And this was one of the things that I wanted to do with my time. Because I've been reading tarot for nearly 30 years now, mostly in person, really, actually all in person until recently. And I really enjoy helping people, about giving them some kind of help and comfort. And I'm told I've gotten really good at it. So I'm offering this through the help of a dear friend who has been doing it for a while online. And they were generous with their knowledge, and I appreciated that. So I'm devoting some of my retired time to presenting this information to people. See where it goes, if anywhere. Um, I also, since I was a visual art teacher, when you're teaching, it pretty much sucks all the life out of you. It takes a lot of um, psychic energy to teach. So hats off to anyone who teaches anything, whether it's kids or otherwise. And so I never really felt like doing anything but just like sitting and getting over the school year when the summer would come. So I never really got to continue to explore my own artistic interests. So another thing that I started doing once I retired is to start, working on artistic things that I enjoy. So I do that too. I've never been much of a cook. I haven't invested much time in cooking. So I'm exploring the world of cooking and working on arts and crafts and offering these tarot readings to whomever might want them, offering my knowledge, um, doing a little gardening, and hopefully traveling. I've gone to visit a couple friends here in the United States, but what I'd really like to do is start traveling outside the United States. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. We shall see. Okay, so we're on the first half hour. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick little break, and I'll be back in one second. And we're back. I found this book referenced today. It's by a man named Thomas Erickson, Erikson, and it's called Surrounded by Idiots. And it's not what it sounds like. It's 4 types of human behavior and how to effectively communicate with each in business and in life. So I downloaded the sample to see if it's something I want to purchase. I also downloaded a sample of the Stephen King novel, The Institute. It's just started, I think it's on Amazon Prime. It's been made into a series, and I thought I'd start reading the book. I'm not a big Stephen King book fan. I do like his movies. The movies that are adapted from his books, I just have a hard time with his books. I don't know what it is. They just don't flow for me. But anyway, so I was looking at this book. I might end up buying it and reading it because it looked pretty interesting. Years and years and years and years ago, when I graduated from high school, so it was 1980, a book that was making the rounds about that time by Stephen King was called The Stand, and there's been at least one TV series made from that book. And I read The Stand while I was on that trip. I went with my father. My graduation gift was to take a trip to Europe, and we'd ride in buses to the different countries. So, in the in-between times, I would read the book. My internet is really sucking. It's not making me happy. I'm as close to it's saying, or get closer to the router. I can get any closer without actually sitting right on top of it. So I've been on for about a half an hour now. I'm going to try and stick it out. This is the hard part for me, just sitting. It's bothering me that the internet keeps, the bandwidth keeps lowering for no particular reason, um, which is making me even more antsy to just call it a day. I think I'll be right back. If you're wondering what all that jiggling is, it's me erasing things in the book. Welcome in. What are you up to today? Going to do an experiment. What happens if I do this? There I am. Cool beans. All right. Now I know. So I just had an exciting revelation, for me at least. Now I know how to switch between this camera where I'm showing the cards and the camera where you actually see me. So I am learning, slowly learning how to handle this beast. Wasn't sure if I could do that easily or not. What's this? Oh, okay. Let's do this one. I don't like that. Where are you? None. What if I changed this camera and I do choose a virtual background? How does that look? Oh, I don't like that. I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's kind of not, you know? I don't mind you seeing my house behind me. So now what I can do is I can introduce everything like in person, like, hi, it's me. And then when it comes time to do a reading, I can just switch over to the other camera, like so. So I like that. What I wonder is, can I have like the integrated camera like down here in the corner? Extra camera. Oh, that's an upgrade. Okay. Extra camera. See what you get by upgrading. That doesn't help me. Well, now I know. I know at least I can switch between the two cameras. That's good. Well, guess what, my friends? My hour is drawing to a close. This is the first time that I have done the Saturday offering of one question readings for the $8 donation. I know that I might change the time to later in the day. In fact, I may even reopen this later in the day to see if the time makes a difference. But meanwhile, I hope you all have a good evening. Or good afternoon, really. It's not evening yet for most of the United States. I will see you. You know what? Actually, let's do that. Let's do that while I'm talking. Yeah, let's do this. So I might re-offer this particular reading tonight to see if there's any interest in the evenings rather than the afternoons. This has been kind of an experiment with the time. And then Sunday, I'll be offering the week in review, week ahead readings for a $3 donation. I've got it set for 3 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow as well. And I'll do it at 3 o'clock, but then if it turns out that it's not a good time, I may also offer that one later in the day. So meanwhile, you guys have a great afternoon. I certainly will, and I will see you when I see you, hopefully soon. Bye bye.